And the stars were out last night for the 60th annual Emmy Awards. They saw a number of records broken, and there was a first involving a popular TV show on basic cable. With more on last night's Emmy ceremony, here now correspondent Ted Rowlands.
John Adams broke the record for Emmy wins, nabbing 13 trophies, including miniseries lead actress for Laura Linney and lead actor for Paul Giamatti, who played the title role.
I'm living proof, kids at home watching, that anybody can play the president.
Mad Men, the AMC series, also made history as the first basic cable program to win Outstanding Drama Series.
I have the most astounding cast, crew. Everyone who was recognized and not recognized. I'm so proud to work with these people.
Basic Cable scored other wins. Glenn Close won lead actress for FX's Damages, and Bryan Cranston was the surprise lead actor winner for AMC's Breaking Bad.
This is just such a wonderful icing to a great cake.
NBC's 30 Rock took Outstanding Comedy Series. Acting and writing trophies went to Tina Fey, and lead actor Alec Baldwin won his first Emmy in 7 tries.
This is the greatest job I've ever had in my life.
In the supporting comedy categories, Gene Smart won for Samantha Who, while Jeremy Piven earned his 3rd Emmy in a row for Entourage. The show was co-hosted by all 5 of the nominees in the category for reality show host. Survivor's Jeff Probst took home the award.
And for the 60th anniversary of the Emmys, a lot of veterans took the stage during the night. Betty White, Mary Tyler Moore, Don Rickles not only presented, but he picked up 2 Emmys himself for Mr. Warmth. I'm Ted Rowlands in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I love seeing Don Rickles finally get an Emmy, because before that, all he got was an ashtray. You know, the Emmys may be over, but there are several new shows coming onto the scene that could be big winners at next year's Emmy Awards show. And joining us now from our Scene 8 studios in Philadelphia with a preview of the fall TV season is David Hiltbrand, entertainment writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Hi, David.
Good morning, Janet.
So what's on tap for the new fall season, first off?
Well, it kicks off tonight. A few shows sneaked in under the wire, such as 90210. They launched early. But the season formally starts tonight with, I think, one of the better new shows that we can look forward to is Worst Week on CBS, which is a very broad comedy, but very enjoyable. That follows 2.5 Men. Heroes comes back tonight, which is a boon to a lot of fans of that show. This season is somewhat odd because of the writer's strike last year. There are less shows, new shows this season than in any year I can remember. There's only about 1/3 as many as we usually get. One of those is Fringe on Fox, which began last week. And this is from J.J. Abrams, the producer of Lost and Alias. And that's a really good show. It's a very sort of scary supernatural show.
And what about 90210, David? Is that going to survive, you think?
I think so, only because it might not survive on the major networks, but on the CW, they don't have a lot of backup. It's dropped off after it got a good viewing initially, but then after that it's dropped off a little bit. There was a lot of furor because in the very first scene that they showed, there was high schoolers having oral sex, which blew a lot of people's minds. And there's also a second furor going on now that the actresses in that show are too thin, that they're almost anorexic. So it's sort of beset with troubles right off the bat. And it's not, I don't think it's as good as the original either. So it's going to have a troubled ride, but it'll probably still be on for a while.
All right, you know, speaking of survival, you know, 30 Rock swept the Emmys last night. Best show for a 2nd season, I believe, or maybe a 3rd. I don't know. Is it their 3rd Emmy for that?
No, it was their second.
Second? Okay.
They're starting their 3rd season in a few weeks. And if you remember, this time last year, that was a show that was on the bubble. They were in danger of being canceled.
Right, it's a critical favorite, but it hasn't really resonated with audiences.
Exactly. So that Emmy nomination last year is what kept them on the air. And now they're the most acclaimed comedy on television, which is great. I only wish this had happened to Arrested Development a few seasons ago.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I happen to love that show. So what does it take these days, really, to make a hit TV show? Sometimes you have all the elements, great storyline, talented, obviously talented writers, great actors, and they still don't survive, a la 30 Rock, which was on the bubble. What does it take?
Well, I think that part of the problem is that the networks have such an itchy trigger finger. If you don't do well out of the gate, you can be they're pulling some shows after a single episode, which never used to happen. But I think what it takes is to have a very unique tone or style or premise. If you can do that with a good cast and good writing, you stand a very good chance of lasting. And case in point, Lost, which I see up on the screen, this is a show which it took people about 6 months to figure out what in the world was going on, and now they can't get enough of it. The wraps have been kept very tight on this season, by the way. I don't have much to tell you about what goes on, because Lost is one of the most notoriously secretive shows on television, for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. What about The Office? Obviously, it's doing pretty well. Great acting, great writing. Didn't do all that well at the Emmys, though, last night.
No, they virtually got shut out. But it was a funny skit when Ricky Gervais came down into the audience and took back his Emmy from Steve Carell.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure where that was going for a while, and then finally when the Emmy appeared, it was like, okay, I get the joke. Okay, it didn't fall flat.
Well, Thursday night, it was traditionally NBC's strongest night, and now they're getting, a lot of the other networks are moving some of their big guns onto Thursday night starting last year. And I think that that's going to hurt The Office, although I think it's a very strong and funny show, but they're going to have a tough sledding this year.
Well, they have my viewership, I'll tell you that. David Hiltbrand, entertainment writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer, thank you for joining us. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Jen.
On air, online, on demand. Watch AFR when you want, where you want with CN8, the Comcast network.